How can I teach grade 7 kids? Helping your students become better learners. Does your grade 7 student struggle with learning? Maybe he struggles with memorization or applying what he learns in class. Or maybe he gets frustrated when things don't come easily. Whatever the case, there is help for your struggling learner. Here are 7 strategies you can use to teach your struggling learner and help him become a better learner. Teach by showing, not telling. Teachers often try to explain concepts by showing diagrams and then explaining the diagrams. This approach can work well, but it often isn't effective with struggling learners who don't see the diagrams the same way other students do. Instead, you need to show your students. Use drawings, PowerPoints, or animations to help your students understand concepts. You can also use a whiteboard to draw diagrams. You can also photograph or take screenshots of material to help your students understand. If you find that you keep telling your students how to learn, try a different strategy. Show them how to learn. It may be a little confusing at first, but it can work wonders for your struggling learners. Create a multi-sensory environment. Multi-sensory activities are a great way to help your struggling learners understand new material. These activities use a variety of sensory channels such as sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste. If you've tried to explain a concept to your struggling learner using only one sense, he may not have been able to fully get it. The human brain is wired to perceive information through different sensory channels, and that's how it was designed to learn. So, when you can teach in a multi-sensory environment, your struggling learner has the opportunity to learn in a more holistic way, thus improving his retention. Multi-sensory activities can be done in a classroom or at home. There are lots of apps that can help with this, too. Use a variety of learning techniques. In addition to multi-sensory activities, you can also use a variety of learning techniques, such as visual learning, auditory learning, and kinesthetic learning. Visual learning uses pictures and symbols to help your students understand concepts. Visual learners often learn best through seeing something instead of reading about it. Auditory learning uses sounds, such as explanations, music, and videos to help your students learn. This is a great approach for struggling learners who often have a hard time understanding information if it's explained using words. Kinesthetic learning uses movement, such as problem-solving activities, to help your students understand concepts. Kinesthetic learners often learn by doing. Kinesthetic activities can also help struggling learners improve their attention and focus. Break learning tasks into smaller steps. A big barrier for many struggling learners is that they are overwhelmed by too much information all at once. By breaking tasks into smaller steps, you can help your students stay organized and less stressed. For example, if you are teaching your struggling learner about fractions, you can break up the task into smaller steps, such as explaining the different fractions with different denominators, or by breaking down fractions into decimal numbers or percents. This will help your student understand each step in the process, making it less overwhelming. Give your struggling learner some autonomy. When you work with a struggling learner, it's important to give him some autonomy. This means giving him some freedom to try things on his own, but you are still available for help if he needs it. For example, if your struggling learner is learning about shapes, you can give him a set of clay shapes and let him try to make as many different shapes as he can. This will help him learn about the properties of shapes, like how many sides they have and how they are made up. Autonomy can also be applied to math problems, like what if your struggling learner is trying to figure out the formula for a certain problem. Give him some autonomy here, too, and let him figure it out. Banish bad habits and teach new ones. Bad habits are often our way of doing things, whether they are good or bad. You can teach your struggling learner how to break bad habits, such as negative thinking, by banishing those habits. You can also teach your struggling learner how to form better habits, like how to work in a positive manner. Positive reinforcement, such as a pat on the back or a good job, can help your struggling learner form better habits. Bad habits are hard to break. You can try practicing new ways of doing things. For example, if your struggling learner is bad at taking notes, you can try copying his notes down and trying to take them yourself. Your struggling learner might not have the same understanding of math or reading that other students do, but that doesn't mean he can't succeed. There are lots of ways to help your struggling learner, such as adjusting your teaching style and using a variety of learning techniques. You can also help your struggling learner by creating a multi-sensory environment, using a variety of learning techniques, breaking learning tasks into smaller steps, giving your students some autonomy, and banishing bad habits and teaching new ones.